Well, it's all happening already. Things are starting to get a little bit crazy. As I record this, there was an incident in New York City. Um, I think there's going to be far more to be discovered, obviously, around that incident. If you're wondering why I don't speak plainly, it's because we can't speak plainly. Ask any YouTuber out there who's been on here for a while. You say certain words, you get shadow banned, and the next thing you know, you can't make a living off of this anymore. So take it easy on people with, social media accounts who are, especially are providing you a service. If they have to speak a certain way, they have to speak a certain way. And that's all there is to it. Okay. Now, I was trying to be a little festive today. My shirt's a little wrinkled. I just realized as I started filming. So don't look at that. Let's put my hair over it. My hair is going to help everything. You know what I mean? All right. So there are a few things that we should talk about here. The first thing is, this is the time of year that Archangel Gabriel that frequency is very, very close to us. Now, if you're not aware of Archangel Gabriel, Gabriel helps us feel nurtured, safe, helps us with communication, understanding our place in this world in the sense of, giving birth to a new situation. Let me put it that way. I always use that in a lot of videos. Gabriel also helps us communicate. I'm using generic terms here. Hang with me. Helps us communicate. But part of that, along with Archangel Michael, is communicating the truth to ourselves and being willing to look at that truth. All right. So Gabriel's in here. This is that, like I said, that time of year. We're coming up on Christmas. Lots of people celebrate lots of different things around this time of year, and Gabriel is a part of all of it. So please, whatever and I invite this every single year, whatever you celebrate around this time, let us know. Let us know what part of the world you're in. Tell us all about it if you care to share. All right. I grew up with Christmas, so that's what I'm the most familiar with. Now, connecting with Gabriel. This is going to be an important thing for you to do, and I would encourage you to do this because you're going to feel a sense of lightness. And again, feeling the truth of yourself, being guided, maybe to start a whole new life for yourself. And I'm not overstating that. Not at all. Gabriel has been instrumental in helping me have brand new chapters in my life. So the way to connect with Archangel Gabriel is to first do a clearing. I always recommend that people do a clearing, and that way you're not misinterpreting if messages do start to come through. So Archangel Gabriel is known as the messenger archangel, all right? But all angels are bringing us messages. So one of the things to understand, you do your clearing. One of the things to understand is that an archangel is not bringing their full force being to you, okay? There is whatever you can handle coming to you. And one of the fastest ways you know that someone's a charlatan is if they claim, I work with this archangel and their full presence comes to me. It's very unlikely. And even if that were true, someone who is capable of handling that in a third dimensional ego consciousness body isn't going to tell you about it. They're not going to brag about it, okay? Because they would have nothing to gain by doing so. So keep that in mind when people are telling you that. Or if people are telling you that they work directly with seraphim, no, they don't. No, they don't. And some people get really uptight about that because it makes them feel special that they can work with that choir of angels. So just be careful with that. So having said all of that, some simple breathing. I have lots of Archangel Gabriel videos over at gumroad.com/angelsoul. So you can get over there and check it out. Those videos, I haven't done a new one in a while, but because of that, I have lowered the prices on everything over there. So now's your chance to go over there and check that out if you want to. I do have some videos on the YouTube channel for free on Archangel Gabriel, so you can check that out. But doing simple box breathing or equal counts in, equal counts out. If you're a little more advanced, you can do the theta breathing, where it's, pick a count, whatever your lungs are comfortable with. So let's say 5 in, or, whatever you breathe in, you're going to hold for double that count and exhale for double that count. So let's say it's in for 5, hold for 10, out for 10. Okay, or in for 10, hold for 20, out for 20. Whatever you can handle. And as you're breathing, you're going to do an invocation. And this is just an invitation, and it's your soul, you as a person, giving permission to this archangel to come forward and to work with you. Now, many of you are going to laugh or smile as I say this next part, because I am one of those people, maybe I go overboard with this, but I put all kinds of high frequency words around that invocation, because you do kind of run the risk, I suppose, of inviting in a being that's claiming to be Archangel Gabriel, but is not. When you keep the frequency high, like I personally like to say, Archangel Gabriel of God's purest love and light, thank you for coming forward to me now, helping me see what I need to see. Give me any messages that you have. Let me know what's going to happen with, I don't know, you could say career, my love life, my health. And Raphael can help with that as well. But because Archangel Gabriel is the messenger angel, you're going to get more guidance maybe on the whole angelic team that could be working with you. And Gabriel is also really helpful in helping you connect with your guardian angel. And I know that seems a little backwards, because some people would say, well, no, you connect with your guardian angel first. They're closer to you in frequency. But I had a weird, go watch my video on how I met Gabriel. I put it up like kind of early on when I got the channel up. Whole big thing around Archangel Gabriel and me. But when I was meditating, Gabriel came to me first. And Gabriel seemed quite large, like 12, 16 feet tall. And then next to Archangel Gabriel was this smaller angel. And I'm going to say she, but angels actually don't have a gender. But she seemed kind of like a new angel. I just had that sense that she was new. And Gabriel was bringing her forward and having us get to know each other. And I was asking, later on I asked for her name. I've got a whole story around that. I'll spare you here, but if you want to see that story, again, it's in that video on my YouTube channel. So I think I called it How I Met Archangel Gabriel, so you can check that out. But connect, do the invocation with high frequency words. If you start to feel nervous, start to feel anxiety, you start to feel any of that, say in your mind, you can say it out loud too, but it's weird to say it out loud. I know there's so many people who love saying it out loud. You don't have to, okay? You really don't have to. So you can say in your mind, are you Archangel Gabriel of God's purest love and light, or of pure source, whatever, of pure love? And if they're not, you'll feel something immediately erase. It just goes because they just got pushed back. If it is Archangel Gabriel, often you'll hear, yes. they're very matter of fact, and it kind of darts in before you're even finished saying it. Okay, so keep that in mind. We are human. We all have an ego consciousness. That ego consciousness can be miswired. It can be chemically imbalanced, right? It can, unfortunately, be traumatized. And so we could be hearing what we want to hear. We could be misinterpreting things. So please be careful with that. Working with angels, mediumship in general is not like hearing voices. It's not having hallucinations. It's nothing of the sort. It's not like that at all. So if you are experiencing those types of symptoms, that's something different. Please seek out professional help. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way whatsoever. You deserve to have proper help and proper care. All right. What this will more likely be is a sense of peace coming over you. It's an energy exercise, and therefore it is going to be very energetic. You're not going to see physical manifestations of it. And again, surefire sign of somebody who maybe is mentally ill, who's trying to do a spiritual practice, is someone, and I'm not saying, and listen, hey, yo, I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody whatsoever. But if someone's saying, I see the Archangel Gabriel before me physically right here. Okay, so just be careful with that. And if you start to see that as a physical person in front of you, again, seek out some help. There might be something going on there. Okay, shadowy figures. Be careful. I believe, again, I'm not an expert in this, but I think that can be a sign of schizophrenia. So, a lot of the spiritual community is where people come to hide, because here people will worship you for seeing such beings. Here people will worship you as special, like you're some sort of special psychic or special medium because you can see it or you can hear it so clearly. When I say I hear it, I see it as sort of like it's funneling through me and I'm getting the message and it's turning into words in my head. Okay, it's not like I'm being invaded by some other being. Channeling, okay, people get a little weirded out by that. There's a distinction here. If I were to choose to channel, it's my physical being going into a deep meditative state, and the energy is animating. I'm stepping my consciousness aside, but I'm still present, and the energy is animating through me. Okay, if I were to do that, that's where you get kind of the weird tones that come out and things like that. Now, again, this spiritual practice realm is very competitive. You will hear lots of practitioners talking down on others, and I'm not trying to down talk anybody. I'm just saying, please be careful. I'm trying to give a warning out there if you're going to be doing any of this, okay? So, and obviously everything has to be done very ethically. If you or anybody is ever using spiritual practice to see what someone's thinking, what they're feeling about you, historically, I've had mothers. There's enough of a pattern here that I can talk about this. Mothers who have come in and said, I want to know what my child is doing. Or I want to know if my son is ever going to leave, his wife because I don't like her. I get it all the time. I recently had somebody say, I want to know about my girlfriend. I want to know about her past. Tell me everything. I wish I could control, but I can't. Unfortunately, there are very unethical readers out there that would be happy to do that reading for you. Now, if you want to know what someone's thinking, you can. There is a way around this where you can ask Spirit, okay, God, Source, Creator, if it is all right for me to know this. If this other person's soul gives me permission to know this, perhaps that person wants you to know, but they're too shy to say it, you can do some energy work to invite in a message from that person's soul. But diving in without their permission, and I'm saying this because we're working with archangels, and people start trying to, first of all, archangels are not going to play with you. And then I think that's really why angels have dropped in popularity, because you can't use angels to do things, to make things happen for yourself. Because the biggest thing angels are about is accountability. And you functioning as the human you agreed to be, in the manner you agreed to be, and to do the story that you also agreed to. It's not very satisfying, is it, when we're in our ego? So we say, nay, we don't like this. Now, if you remember, angels had quite the popularity point there around 2010 to 2012, and that was really coming from codependency. It was coming from coddling. It was coming from somebody who was a very effective speaker, making everybody feel good, and by telling them what they want to hear. Now, that particular person, I met them. And when I came into the person's presence, they became defensive. I said nothing. I just showed up. The person was defensive and snippy. And you can see that person was very unsettled, that I was standing there. And we did not know each other. And no, my Angel Souls channel had not been up but like 2 months, 3 months maybe. Not even that. No, I think it had been up maybe almost 2 months, let's say. So it's not like people knew me or anything like that. It was the frequency. And of course, that person would say, I just got a bad feeling from her. No. Someone who saw through this person showed up, and it made them uneasy. Because I can tell you that person was hugging all the people that came up gushing. There were some pretty evil people that showed up at this event. And when they got up to her in this line, and they were just saying whatever she wanted to hear, and she was doing the same back, it was like they understood each other, they're hugging, okay? So that was when angel work was very, very popular. Then as people started realizing, oh, this isn't like, I don't know, I just go put my order in, the angels make it happen. Oh, this isn't like I have to do the work. It went downhill. It went downhill quite a bit. So why am I telling you this? Because I don't think you're going to want to be without the angels at this time. I'm knocking things over here. Sorry. So let me let me readjust. I don't think you're going to want to be without the angels. I don't think that it's because, you're going to be in this terrible danger or anything like that. But your happiness is going to be elusive unless you realize what happiness is. Angels can help you understand that. Angels can help you heal. Angels can help you move through. Angels can help you be in alignment. One of the other things that I think we should talk about here is the immense level of self-centeredness that is going on. It's nothing new. I talk about narcissism. My nose is starting to tingle. I'm so sorry. If you watch my videos, I get face tingles. And it's always around my nose. Okay, anyway. Which is, who wants to see me touching my nose? Anyway, sorry. This unbelievable amount of self-centeredness. And really people lacking compassion. And this is evidenced by people wanting to constantly bring the conversation back to themselves. And be careful with this, because I'm not talking about people who maybe you've been hurt and you need to talk to someone about it. And maybe you're trying to talk to somebody who is a narcissist and they don't care about you. Okay, that's not the same thing. You are not a burden. You are not a burden. What I am speaking to would be people who, you say, hey, I just went through this horrible thing. And they go, oh, anyway, I went through this thing one time and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm just getting over being sick. If you saw last week's video, that's when it was just starting. Here's where it's just ending. And when people found out that I was sick, it was a whole lot of, oh, well, I was feeling something too. I think I'm coming down with something too. Maybe you got me sick. Don't overlook these little things, because the whole societal narrative is to call these things petty, and then we just overlook it. Or you're ridiculous for noticing things. It's part of the game, guys. It's part of the game. It's part of the thing to make you not notice what's right there in your face. People will tell you flat out who they are. If you have someone who's constantly interrupting you, you can't get a word out without them talking over you. Walk away. Walk away. There's no room for that. There is no room for that whatsoever. And if someone's like, okay, well, I've learned that I shouldn't talk over people. Congratulations. But they're just listening and waiting until they're not actually hearing what you're saying. They're just waiting until you're done so that they can start talking again. This is not funny. See, I bet how many of you, go ahead and comment if you want to, if your response was to laugh at that. It's part of the brainwashing. You've literally been trained to laugh this stuff off. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't be negative. Stay positive. It's all delusional, and it is a control mechanism. Now, having said that, we as humans, we love to overcorrect. Am I saying then if someone is coming in and they're really excited about something, you're like, okay, you know what? You have talked too much. This needs to be an equal exchange. All right? Let's be reasonable. All right? Working with angels helps you come back to being reasonable, helps you come back to being able to have healthy connections with other people. And Gabriel especially can help you understand things about yourself that you had previously been missing. All right? So that's why I'm going into all of that Now, I will pull some cards here. December's going to be rough. December's going to be rough. There's going to be some very disappointing kind of interactions with people. I'll be flat out honest. One of the things I do here is I don't pretend like nothing's going on in my life. I'm human right here with you. Because I don't give into that brainwashing of, well, I'm a business, so I'm just here to show up and I'm going to do my little card reading and pretend like everything's perfect. I'm going to pretend like I have all of the answers. I'm going to speak softly like an angelic person would, and then I'm just going to collect my money and go away. Like, that's not what we're doing here. We're in the tough stuff, you know? So today, someone had asked me to do something very simple. And I got irritated. There was no logistical reason for me to get irritated, but I did. And I had to stop and go, why is this irritating me? And of course, it was because of other types of treatment that go on and a lot of injustice. And so for this one small thing, it just felt like it was too much to ask, even though the thing itself was so small and didn't take much time to take care of. But it was everything else. It was feeling like I couldn't get ahead. I can't seem to get one project done before another thing falls apart and I have to go rushing to that. Or I can't seem to get some free time. And when I do get some free time, I got sick, you know. Also be careful with people telling you that if you got sick, then that means that there's a spirit attached to you and all that stuff. I'm going to stand strong now. I am so sick and tired of sitting back quietly watching people take advantage of others. It's been going on since 2015. Very much so since 2015, when people realized that they could just whip out some cards and make some ad revenue and not caring about what actually happens to people. So let's examine our feelings. Let's sit with them. And if you're going to leave a comment like, oh my gosh, that happened to me, and then you start to explain some very surface level situation, you miss the point. The message didn't land. Thank you for leaving the comment and interacting, but you absolutely missed the point. You don't have room to be shallow anymore. If you're shallow, think of it as being brittle, and you're going to break. Now, if you're somebody who's been through a lot, every person is different, but this could very much be your time, where you are seeing some justice. You are having things come back to you. I heard someone say, it was another reader, I don't know them well. It was one of those things they just like showed up on my FYP and I was like, oh, hey. But they said that all the money that you've spent in the past 3 years is going to come back to you times 10. And that one hit me because like the past 3 years have just been rough for a lot of people. I think we've been in a depression, not just a recession. It's been too hard. You know, it's too hard to like overcome little things, you know? And the only people who made it through were the rule followers. The ones who stuck with the office jobs. The ones that stuck with the boss and did whatever the boss said. If you try to get out on your own, you probably hit some hard times too. Struggling to get the clients, struggling to make ends meet. I liked that message because it felt like, yeah, kind of what I'm saying here, which is we're finally getting some payoff. We're getting something coming back to us. And no longer are we going to have to put our happiness aside or on pause to make somebody else feel better about themselves. This would also include not playing small for someone else's comfort. December's going to be rough. It's going to be very rough. I'm getting confirmations in my ears. Michelle, what weird thing is this? I know. The high-pitched ringing. and then sometimes like I'll actually go deaf in one ear, and then there's like a super high pitched sound. I guess those are downloads. That's what the kids are calling them these days. Still, right? Something like that. So you're going to have to go deep. And I know that we're in trouble. Don't forget, I say this almost every video, but I've been doing readings for people professionally for over 11 years. Non-professionally for decades before that. Since I was like a teenager, really. Started out doing crystal readings with people. And I didn't even know about anything spiritual. I literally just picked up a crystal and I was feeling an energy and I started giving the person a reading and feeling like taking their objects like a ring or a watch or something and doing a reading off that. So I have seen the patterns. And I'm seeing a disturbing amount of selfishness, self-centeredness, as I've already said. The incessant talking, I've seen that. Again, I'm not talking about people who need to talk. Then you're welcome. There's a distinction there. Okay, when I'm doing a live reading, I could just tell someone needs to talk. That's one thing. But if someone's trying to like almost give themselves the reading, and I'm literally mid-sentence and you just cut me off, that's something else. That's something else. But here's what I want to share with you. And this is not normal for me to share stuff like this. I used to, for the longest time, just have a business model where I did digital readings. Because I didn't want to be influenced by how the person sounded, looked, any of that. But also I wanted a little bit of a buffer. I wanted to be able to end the reading when the reading was actually supposed to end and not have somebody go, yeah, but one more thing. And then take up another half hour, and not even pay me for it. You know, just take up my time. And no, I'm not going to hang up on them. You can't just do that because people are evil and they'll go do evil things. They'll go, especially if someone does that, they're probably a narcissist and they are going to go off on a smear campaign and try to ruin your reputation. There's a few things out there about me that like when I saw them, I'm like, okay, that's not how that conversation went, but okay. So, you can't just hang up on them. But I see this moment. This is the thing I wouldn't normally share. I see this look with the live readings now where people are just like irritated that we're going deep. I had somebody literally roll their eyes and go, yay, a meditation, om, all that. What, is he coming back or not? Enough is enough. But it's disturbing that hardly anybody wants to go deep. Hardly anybody can handle it. They look confused. Or like I said, annoyed. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Or, God forbid, if they get some truth reflected back to them, this huge glitch happens, and there's no other word for it but a glitch. There was a sweet spot of time when people loved the deep stuff. Now, yeah, you would still have narcissistic people come in and go, you can go deep with me because I'm very spiritually advanced. I've done so. Yeah, I've done all that. No, I've done all the practice. You don't understand. I've gone on all the retreats. Just because you've done the retreats doesn't mean it's stuck. Just because you did the retreat doesn't make you more enlightened if it didn't stick. You feel me? I can go on and on about this. People going on these retreats where they, let's say, go on an adventure, guided by a shaman, okay, and drinking a tea, right? And I'm actually shocked that these shamans are even allowing some of these people in there. Because there used to be sort of an initiation type, there's a process there. Like you have to be ready to go in there. So I don't know what's going on, but I see a lot of people where I'm like, okay, I know for sure. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just trusting the instincts that I get from that person, and maybe even what I've seen with my own two eyes, okay? How they can be, or I've heard the things that they've said about people, or I've seen how they've behaved towards others. Maybe I just pick up on that. And they've gone off and done this stuff. So I don't know what's going on there, but we can't just go through the motions. And someone who looks like they have a perfect life is probably having the least spiritual experience. If someone has been through it, they've come out the other side and they've been able to sit down and share what they've learned, that's someone who's not going to have to incarnate again. That's someone, at least this iteration of their soul is going to go back into their higher self, their personal oversoul, and wait it out for the other pieces to come back home and maybe not come back again. Maybe get to go through whatever training there is to be a spirit guide. But that is not you if you can't listen when someone else is in pain. That is not you if you get irritated when someone tries to go deep with you. If everything is surface level, if your friendships are surface level just to make you look popular, you're not going to enjoy these next few years. And I want to speak directly to those of you who are the ones who have been through quite a bit. And you've watched everybody else get the support. You've watched everybody else get fawned over. And maybe you've been neglected. These narcissistic people, these self-centered people, their lives are going to fall apart. And they're going to come running to you. And you don't owe them anything. Nope. Well, I should. Spiritually, you have a right to defend your energy with no harm to anybody else. So that does include return to sender, shielding your energy, not allowing anybody to have a piece of you, collecting up the energy that they've taken, cleansed and blessed, and integrating it back into yourself. You have every right to do that. And you have every right to say no when someone who didn't care about how you feel forgot about you, left you to do the hard stuff on your own. You actually won because you don't grow unless it's tough, right? We get lazy when it's easy. You won in that situation. And now when times are tough for them, they're not going to be trained enough to handle it. And I'm speaking directly to you all, okay? I'm going to tell you that these people think that you were put on this earth to serve them. And you were put on this earth to school them. And they're about to get schooled. Now, don't you get in your ego and be like, yeah, now you need me? Okay, let me step on your face. No, don't create karma for yourself. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you can say no. You can say no. Let's see what else there is to say about that. An energetic reset. I'm not going to speak to the people who are shallow anymore. You can go. If I wake up tomorrow and there's only 10,000 subscribers out of my 95 or whatever I have, 95,000, that's fine. I'm not playing games anymore. I'm not going to keep showing up for people who just want to be entertained. Although this is supposed to be for entertainment purposes only, because we're not allowed to speak or have other viewpoints, right? So let me speak to the people who, again, you're the ones who don't get seen. You're the ones who don't get heard. You're the ones who have been forgotten. I can assure you that I'm not going to promise easy, because you didn't sign up for easy, okay? But I can promise you that you're going to be able to find some bit of happiness as time goes on. And some of you who are, and we all experience this. We all experience this where maybe you're in a job that's just unbearably unfair, not paying you properly, expecting too much out of you, or a love partnership that is really unfair. And I'm not talking to the whiners who are like, oh my God, I deserve to be worshipped. And all he does is sit around and read books instead of worshiping me. We ain't talking to you. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're making a fool out of yourself every day. Every day you make a fool out of yourself. And oh my gosh, is your mirror going to break? Oh, it's going to break. And there will be no more delusion to hide within. You're done. You're done. You're going to have to face yourself. You're just going to have to. But for the other people, that happiness might come from going, you know what? Why am I doing this? Why am I allowing myself to be used like this? I'm going to go. Now, unfortunately, some of you are attached to very evil people who are evil spirits. So you'll have to do this very, very, very carefully and with the guidance of a professional. And again, you got to be careful with the psychological community because I don't think I've ever met a therapist that was a good therapist. I believe in therapy. I believe in it. But boy, do you have to be picky about who you're seeing. I just spoke to someone and they said that they weren't even familiar with narcissism. Now, I don't know how that whole thing works. Maybe I'm being unfair with that. Like maybe that's expecting a cardiologist to know all about podiatry, and they don't. Those are just maybe two different fields or something. Could be. But to me, it's such a narcissistic world that to hear a mental health care practitioner professional say that they're not familiar with what might be the biggest problem going on in this world was astounding. And the way this person bristled when I used the word narcissist, as if I'm not allowed to use it. Or like I now become suspect because I use that word. And yet I'm a survivor of decades of narcissistic abuse. I'm the case study. I'm the one that tells you what it's like. And you collect it all up, you pop it in the DSM-5, you figure out a diagnosis with it. And yet we're not taken seriously. It's a victory for some, but a very small group of people. For everyone else, it's just, we're going to hear so much whining and crying. Now, I will do readings. I was going to shut those down. I come so close to shutting those down so many times. But then I get a really good client. Someone who's just one of those beautiful souls that I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so great to read for, you know? So if you don't play games, if you really, really want to do some true soul level work, you want me to tune in for you and do some real angelic messaging. You can do a standard reading. If you're somebody who cannot keep yourself from interrupting, don't do a live reading. I cannot believe that people will pay and then keep interrupting what I'm doing. They can see that I'm tuning in. They can see that and then they're like, and it's talk about something silly. Completely breaking that flow. Go to someone who's going to coddle you. Go. Bye. Now, if you want that standard reading, okay, angelsouls444.com. If you do want a live reading with me, I can schedule that. But I promise you, if I'm on that live and you're not taking me seriously, you're going to get a hard dose of truth. I'm not going to be nasty with you. Just matter of fact. We're in tough times here. And it needs to be all hands on deck. And like 25% of the population has shown up. And that's unacceptable. So if you want a live reading, you're ready for it, you can email me at angelsouls444@gmail.com. All right. Let's see what we have here for you. Queen of Gabriel. And I'm going to do this so it'll focus for you here so you can get a little bit of a look at that. Queen of Gabriel, passionate, charming, brilliant, independent. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want, the ability to attract helpful people. Again, unless you are very shallow and self-centered, then that's not for you. Okay? When it says go after what you want, you can do anything right now. People who are very pompous and in their ego, boy, they get enamored with themselves all over again. And they're like, that's right, I am the queen. And like, oh, gross. Anyway, epiphany that it's gross. Epiphany. Here's this. You're going to start realizing that people don't even know how to be in friendships. People don't know how to connect with one another. People don't really know how to love. And there's the number 9. There's only, like I said, about 25%, 20 to 25% of the people watching this are going to truly connect with this message and understand what's being said. The rest of you are going to be pissed. Get mad, stay mad. If you don't like the tone, don't set the tone. How much did you think we were going to take? You're done. Because here's the awakening. All those people that you thought you'd call like a loser, the ones that you would make fun of when they walk out the door, like they say something, then they walk out like, oh my God, did they really just say aliens? Did they really just, oh my God. Watch out. Okay. Epiphany, Archangel Raziel, joy through spiritual growth. Haha. See, that's what we get to have. Joy through spiritual growth. Be a light to others. Answers that come through meditation. Again, we're waking up here. We're not taking it anymore. Not giving into the shallow rules, and we're making something new. There is the magician, the number 1. We got to get centered, aligned, get back in touch with us, ourselves, fix what needs to be fixed. Here's Raziel again. Ooh, Raziel is a rainbow on a night sky. I say that all the time, and I swear to God, if other people are starting to say that now, they copied off of me. Because I've been saying that for forever, okay? So Archangel Raziel, you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear, successful beginnings. But this is for the people who know how to be compassionate. These are for the people who wouldn't dare snub someone. I see this all the time too. Where like you make eye contact with someone and maybe say, good morning. And they look at you like, why are you talking to me? Evil. Michelle, you're making it. I'm not making too much out of it. That is evil. You think I don't know the difference? You think I don't know what's in people? Who are you talking to right now? And it's especially expressing like narcissism. People who either are so self-centered that they don't care what you're going through, or they're so with attachments and like evil attachments that they want you to be questioning. They want to see you get all uneasy. I have an example here I want to share. Now, forgive me, it's going to be a clunky example because I don't know what the name of the channel was or anything like that, but there was this trend going around on one of the platforms for a while, and it was like, give me my money, yay! And then they do this with 3 people. So the first 2 people, they say, give me your money, and everyone cheers. Right, give me my money. And the second person says, give me my money, and everyone cheers. And then the third person says, give me my money, and they go to cheer, and everyone stops cheering. Well, these 2 teenagers did this with a little boy who already looked like he was in so much pain. That makes me mad. Oh God, this little boy looked like he was in so much pain and so nervous and anxious, and they did that to him. And he looked like he was going to cry. And he was confused. He has such big chances to grow up borderline, for one. But that poor baby, I saw it as abuse. I saw it as abuse. Psychological abuse. If you can try to find it, it went viral, and it went viral because of the cruelty. Now, I'm not saying go and look at the cruelty. And again, quit thinking about yourself all the time. Going, oh, I don't want to see something like that. I'm like, go look at it. That little boy couldn't walk away. Stop. And if you don't like it, unsubscribe. Get out of here. I'm done. What do I have to lose? There's nothing to lose here. Nothing. I can't keep playing to the lowest common denominator. I know a lot of you are going to be pissed, and that's okay. Like I said, you don't like the tone, don't set the tone. Go watch this. Comment. Not to make them popular, to give them money or anything like that, but to draw attention to what these girls did to this little boy. But that little boy, if he can hang in there, and here's the tough thing about that type of soul who's going through that. He has to survive. And there'll be a point, if he can get past that point, he'll be the recovered scapegoat. He will be the one that is more powerful than any of the people who ever harmed him. But he has to survive. And that's the part that not everybody gets to. So don't be a part of the problem, is what I'm saying. Ace of Gabriel. Gabriel likes what I'm saying. Gabriel likes what I'm saying to you. This is Gabriel energy right here. You take it or you don't. A gift of passion, opportunity, and inspiration. The chance to do something amazing. A sense of wonder. I started off talking about Gabriel in this reading. I gave this very long message. And here's Gabriel again. Consider this the trumpets sounding. Because it is the end. It's the end of the old way. Now, I'm going to shut this down. I might record a couple of dailies, which get in high demand, even though they don't get that many views. And I think that's interesting. And I've been doing dailies for a few people who really, really push to have them, but I'll do them. And then I'm going to get back to my life. Let me see. Let me see. What is the effect of this? Did you hear it? Or are you going to be angry and punish? You're going to go on a smear campaign? You're going to be part of the problem in this world? Then leave me with my people. Leave me with my people. By the way, if you're one of those people who's like, well, Michelle, I think you're a little, get out of here. You know who you are. You're the enablers. Well, I think sometimes there could be a reason for their bad behavior. Get out of here. Michelle, you're being so harsh. I've never seen you be so harsh before. Leave. I don't have space for it. I would rather my energy go to the people who are willing to do the work and who've already been through enough than to be catering to people who constantly keep sucking the air out of the room. And no, I was frustrated earlier with one simple little thing that was asked of me. Here's another evil sign that you'll see. Michelle, you're really going through it. Evil. Oh my God, how could you possibly say that? You're brainwashed. Oh my God, Michelle, I'm nothing but truthful. And I'm good at what I do. And you just saw it. And if I'm laying it down in this way, you should probably listen and take it seriously. So I'm going to do my other stuff. As always, I am sending you love, and take care.